Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create a unified diffuse and also a specular map. For the minute we're going to keep the specular map simple. Basically editing a couple of other images that might come in useful for us, but we're going to keep it fairly simple. For the actual diffuse, we want to smooth it down a bit to stop our object being quite so lumpy. So what I'm going to do is load up my unified normals. Sorry, my unified normals. Okay, do a Control A, Control C, just close that. I'm going to make a new document now. And here's my normal map in here. Okay, next I'm going to make a new layer on top of that. And let's see, what I want to do now is load up a picture of Ed209 that I've got, and just take a sample of his texture color from here. And I'm going to use that just to wash everything like that. Then I'm going to change my opacity to around about 70% or so, just so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm also going to go over here, select this lot, and in my selection I'm going to refine my edge. I'll just wait because this sometimes takes a little while. Maybe refine it to about 3 pixels. Click OK. Just got to wait a few moments for this to calculate. Okay, and let's just delete that off. And delete that off up here as well, just so we pretty much know where the areas are that we're supposed to be working on. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in, and starting up here I'm going to start by, let's see, I want to desaturate everything. There we go. So now this layer is desaturated and this one isn't. Zoom in a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is use my eraser tool, and I'm going to start cutting out the areas where these are, like that. Now if I want my lower level here, oh hang on, I've been cutting out the wrong pieces. If I want, I can adjust the levels on my lower layer just to make it stand out more. Just bring this up a little bit more. Okay, and this enables us just to cut these out. For these smaller ones, I'll just use a small jag there and there. And down here. What I'm going to do is just go down in strips, just a piece at a time. Okay, move this along to here and go up again. Right, let's just cut out this area here, like so. Back to the eraser tool. There we are. There's another marquee just here. Eraser tool. Okay. There's one. up at the top here there's plenty. Should I actually see them myself? And again over here. Okay, moving along one. That's to about here. Bit too big. Just reduce it a bit. Take these ones. And these ones. There's another one there. Okay, go to marquee again. Let's take this section. And this one. There's two small ones just there. And there. I'll sort those ones in just a second. I'll just clean these top areas. Okay, let's have a look at these. One. And this one. Okay, and that takes me all the way at the bottom. Let's move along again. Make sure I deselect first, just in case I've still got anything just hanging on. I'll leave those. Okay. Take that. It's the end piece of the gun anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Keep going up. There's another one. And here. If it's not absolutely spot on, just, you know, go back and do it again. I'm being quite quick in the way that I'm doing it, so... There we are. Go around doing some cleanup. This knee was always a bit of a mad shape to begin with, so... Okay, go down. Some nice big pieces here. Let's clean these out. There. There. Undo that one because it's a bit big. There we go. Now then, this area here is going to have to be darkened, so what I'll do is just marquee grab it. You're probably going to want to be considerably more accurate than I was there. And this is the underside, which I'm also going to want to grab. There we go. There's one there. There's some. And here. Up here. Okay, again, go across just about here and go up. Some of these areas are pretty messy simply because of the scale of the UV map, because we are having to work in a very, very small area, as you can imagine. Do this top piece up here, there. Okay. So all we're doing really is just kind of defining areas where we want more background to show through, because what we're going to do soon is really just wipe out that background. Well, by background I mean that underneath layer, you know what I mean. Okay, here's some more bits. Just there. Okay, and that should be about it. I'll just take this one out. There we go. Okay, I'll change the opacity up to 100, like so. Okay, so we've gone through the map and basically just isolated some areas where we wanted to be able to see through. You can see them now, it's pretty basic, it's very rudimentary stuff. Okay, I'm going to change my, well, I've already changed my opacity level up here. Now I'm going to hide this one. And what I'm going to do is generally just darken everything the hell down. So layer, per image, mode, let me see, what am I going to do with this? Oh, I'm not on the right level. Here we are. I was wondering why it wasn't working. Adjustments, got levels. Darken these up a bit, like so. Now if we turn this back on again, you can see these areas kind of sticking through a lot better. Now what I'm going to do is, I've got an image of some carbon fibre. I just grabbed off the internet. Only 600 by 600. I'm going to put this over here. Okay, that's nice. Control A, Control C. And I'm going to put this over here and just drag it over here, because this is of course the Ed 209 kind of view area over here. So what I can do now, take my eraser. Actually no, what I can do just to make things even easier is just take this select tool here and just select inside of here. I can see that it wants to select everything. Never mind, sod it. I'll just draw it away. I don't have the patience to be sitting here mucking around with it, so my opacity of my eraser is not high enough for my liking. It's only 37, so I'll change that to 100. Okay, I'll now select the correct layer. because I know that this is basically the visor area on Ed 209, and I wanted to have this rather nice texture on it, which I'm going to darken down a bit as well. Makes a sort of chewable texture here by taking chunks out of it. You know, I've actually got my Wacom pen sitting on the desk in front of me as well. I'm like, well, I could go and get my Wacom tablet out of my bag, but I don't want to. Okay, that'll do. So now it's more or less bitten to the right level. I can just trim this away. Like this. There we go. There. And this will now act as the visor for Ed 209, and because it's unwrapped, it'll be moderately even. I'm still going to dark it the hell down though, so what I'm going to do is go over here, and I can either, you know, apply something like a levels tool to it, or I can just, you know, burn the hell out of it like this till it gets real dark. There we go. Now I can see up there's a little bit I missed with my eraser tool, so not anymore. And I can merge this one. I'll just merge visible. There we go. And now I can put these underneath and pull out. Okay, that's not bad. I think for the underside, let's have a look. I've got the burn tool already selected anyway, so I could possibly just... Oh no, that's the eraser tool. What am I doing? I could possibly just do with going around the edges of a couple of bits here like this. Just darkening it. That's not really very smooth though. Right, shadows. Yeah, let's change the exposure down a bit more actually. Yeah, it's better. Don't want to really over darken it, just a little bit. In various areas. Do some edges mainly. Just not too much, just a little bit. Okay. Double Control E just to bring this down a bit. Now if I want to, what I can do is just use my blur tool. Just like smear this a little bit like that. I have them all going in the same direction if I can. Just get this one going quite long. There we are. Same up here. Just a little bit of dirt and wear and tear never goes amiss. You know, because Ed 209 was dated technology when it was released, let's face it. It was made in the 80s. Okay, I'm going to assume that as this is front to back, crap's going to travel backwards. So I'm not going to bother going around and doing all of it. You can do that, but every little helps, you know. Right. Anyway, that'll do for the start of our unified. What I'm going to do is just stick that in there, and that'll give us a nice background, just in case there's any kind of leak over. It also makes it a very pretty colour. There we go. Let's fill some gaps in. And I'm going to duplicate layer. Yeah, that way I can get all the gaps in. Let's see. Solid, that should do. Okay, so I'm going to save this one as, and this will become my unified normal map, like so. Okay, because I'm not going to mess around with my texture map at all or anything like that. Now, another thing is I want to make a basic specular for the moment. So a simple way of making my basic specular would be just to open my unified normals. You see, I've just noticed that myself. I saved them as unified normals instead of unified diffuse. And you think to yourself, oh no, that could be a bit bad, couldn't it? Well, you know, it could be. However, fortunately I always had a backup. So don't save it as normal. If you're working in real time, don't save it as unified normals. Okay, just don't. Just save as unified bloody diffuse. There we go. Now thankfully I always keep a backup. So I'll go and get my backup of that. Okay, so thankfully I'll just go and fish that out now. I bet you were sniggering at yourself when I did that. You thought, Chris is going to have to do it all over again. No, back up. For God's sakes. Stupid people. Right, so we'll create a very simple, very simple, what do you call it, normal map, not normal, specular map from this. So, I'm just going to do a quick diffuse. Desaturate, sorry, not diffuse. And then I'm going to grab this and just paste it on over the top. And, let me see, select image, adjustments. Again, desaturate, just make that black and white. And I can just see. Yeah, multiply would probably work okay in that instance, I suppose. Yeah, that'll do there. So I'll just do a flatten. And I'll copy it back in again. I do this kind of stuff a lot, so if you're thinking, but he just did something, don't worry. It's just the way I work. Desaturate. It's probably because I'm hopeless with colours, so. Okay, that should do it. Bring that down to about 79. We can always kind of add areas that are kind of going to be darker than the other areas just by increasing the exposure here. And perhaps use a custom brush. If you just have a look at our, you know, maybe drop shadow brushes or something. See what we've got. There you go, you see? Ducks. You can't go wrong with having ducks, can you? Nah, I'm just messing with you. But you know, you can draw some areas on here just using this tool like this. Just to, you know, stop it being quite so shiny in areas. Just draw it out like that. Okay, and here. Just looking at a place where there's kind of an accumulated build-up of grease or dirt or whatever the hell it is that Ed209s suffer from. Stair problems, you know. Add a few random areas in like that, and up here, over there. We want some on the underside of this. A couple up here. Plenty of space really, just mess around and have some fun doing this. There we go. Do some work on these toes perhaps. Just remember the toes are duplicated, so anything you do on there is really going to kind of stand out quite a lot. I mean, these are all options, and I'm just working through this kind of fast here. Just specular map basically cuts down the amount of specular reflectivity from light that shines on your object because obviously, you know, depending on fingerprints, oil, grease, rust buildup, all number of things, it's never going to remain completely constant. What I can do over here as well is, you know, just for bits and giggles, is I could take this exposure down to about 17. Just, you know, lighten up a few areas over here, maybe about 10 actually. 9 or 10, there we go, just lighten up a few areas around the edge of this. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to save this now, not as unified normals, ho ho ho, save as unified specular, like so. Okay, now if I go over to my 3dsmax model, which is sitting over here all innocent like, wondering what's going on, because it's been a while since I've done anything with it. What I'm going to do is go on my material editor. We seem to have a render to texture going on. You behave. Stop that right now. Don't know why it's pre-processing the scene even. Okay, let's just apply this material to it. There we go. So now you can see the difference this has made. Okay, our model's a lot cleaner than it was. The areas that are supposed to be kind of darker are sticking out more than they were. And you can see the rivet ends and junk like that. If I was to change this to the Ben Cloward slightly more complicated specular map, here we are, 3 lights world FX. Shiny, shiny. I'll stick my specular texture in now. And stick my specular in. There we go. And that'll kind of tone junk down a bit. Now, stick my Omni in here. Like so. I love my Omni. And let's see. Light 1 positions Omni. I can flip my green channel if I want to. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to. Yes. Yes, my pretty. Ha ha ha. Okay, and over here, let's see, I'll turn on my shadows, and I'll turn my multiplier down. Turn it as low or as high as I want, depending. I'll make another couple of these. That way I can assign them. Okay. Too much of a multiplier makes your model a bit too kind of overly shiny. There we are. Yay, pretty pretty. Okay, so I'm quite content with the way that's looking. So, we've got our unified diffuse map. I'm going to turn this multiplier up a bit more actually. It looks kind of sad like that otherwise. There, we've got our unified diffuse map, which is kind of going to do wonders for us. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to the next part, where we're going to import our test mesh into Unreal Tournament 3 and look at it in there. Okay, so till then, see you in the next part. Bye bye for now.